Hope Anusi. I'm your host for the Fashion Lounge. And the Fashion Lounge is really talking with different people in the fashion space. So having authentic and candid conversation around fashion, faith, lifestyle, and culture. Really want to just, get the conversation, the dialogue behind the brand. Everybody makes everything so perfect on the gram or on social media, but like there's a story behind every brand, every designer, every player in the fashion industry, and so we just want to get into it. And the beautiful thing about this is like we want you to be part of that dialogue. We don't want you to just be up here looking at us, but like if you want to engage, we'll give you the opportunity to do that as well. So we're excited. I also want to introduce our co-host.
Hey guys, y'all look beautiful. Everybody looks nice. I'm Natasha. I'm the founder of NTPR firm, so I do fashion PR. I'm Hope's partner in crime and in business.
That part.
Yes. And so we jumped off the cliff today and started this fashion lounge thanks to Sheldon in one of our meetings, just hashing it out. And so here we are, and we're so excited.
Awesome. Well, this is our pilot edition of the Fashion Lounge. We're so excited that you are here with us. We have a very amazing guest with us today. I'm so excited. Ken, you don't know, but I've been been admiring her just from what we've seen in the past, and I'll introduce her in a moment. But we have Kenya Freeman, the designer of Sylvia Molly. Everyone knows her from Project Runway Star season 16, right? Mm-hmm. All right, yeah. And I just loved just her candid nature. She was on a panel a few months ago, and I was listening to her story, and it was just like the journey of her getting to where she is that I don't think a lot of people may know. And I'm like, man, that's something that everybody needs to hear, because it's not the glitz and the glamour. What people actually think about getting into the industry is real, is raw, and I'm like, we need to have her as our first guest. So, and the beautiful thing about her is like, she'll say things with a very serious face, but like be super hilarious. And I'm just like, I appreciate that. I appreciate when someone's really real. So, with further ado, I would like to introduce our guest, Kenya Freeman. Already have the energy and the drama. I love it.
Hey y'all, hey. I am Kenya. I am a fashion designer. Life has been a whirlwind, even as of today, right? Yes. The last 24 hours has been, boy, if I told y'all what happened the last 24 hours, oh my God. Can y'all hear me? Yes, mic check. Just you settled.
But I would love just for you to just give us an introduction about who you are, and just, I love the journey that you express, and if you want to give us a little highlight of like how you got started. How did you get here?
How did I get here? How much time we got?
Ooh, child. Let me see. I'll let you know when we need to wrap it up.
Don't do that Grammy Award mic cut.
No, we good. This is our pilot, so everybody has grace for us, right?
That's pretty dope that y'all wanted me to be here like first though. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, I really loved you. I'm telling you, I heard that story, and I'm like, this needs to be heard. This is like perfect content for the type of dialogue we want to have. I don't want it to feel like really stuffy or formal. Like I really want to have a conversation. I really want it to be raw and authentic. Mm-hmm. This is a safe space. It's a judgment-free zone. So
is it though? Y'all look a little judgy.
Sheldon went home and get a little outrageous.
Sheldon loves me, though.
That's my baby.
Well, okay, so, it's all started in a small town in Virginia.
Oh.
You said we going to start from the beginning, right?
I used to live in Virginia. That's why I said that.
You did? Where were you from in Virginia?
Newport News. I lived in Newport News.
Really? My mom worked in Newport News as apartment manager for 20 years.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Hey, girl.
Hey, girl. Hey, 757.
Right. Mm-hmm. All day.
Yes.
So yeah, this is great. This is a good, yeah. So, born and raised in Norfolk, Virginia. And my So I'll tell you about my mama. My mama was like the wild child, crazy lady. She was like the groupie before groupie was a thing. She used to chase down like Teddy Pendergrass tour bus. Like she was that girl. Dropped me off at grandma's house because she wanted to smoke her reefer because they literally chasing the tour bus. During that time, my mother got with a married guy, and then she got pregnant, and then I got here, and then so that's a short story about that. She's nice now. She go to church and everything now. She still cuss you out in that parking lot though, but she gonna put them stockings on and she gonna usher, okay? She got little baby steps, but I'm proud of her. She in Niagara Falls with her friends right now on vacation, living her life. And I just had to cash up her because she was like, "You owe me an allowance," and I'm like, "Ooh, girl, that's where we at. We doing allowances now."
Paycheck season.
Right. She was like, "Well, I cashed out my 401k." She did though. She really, really did. My mother at the beginning, like in high school, I just wanted to do fashion. I didn't know what it meant or where I would go. My mama wanted me to be a nurse. And I'm like, I can't even look at my own blood when my cycle come on. So I know I can't be nobody's nurse, none of that stuff. And then I was like messing around in the wrong crowd. I was dating like all the guys who sold a lot of drugs because they had a lot of disposable income. And I wanted new shoes so I can go to school. Because the girls already hated me, so I'm just like, I gotta be cute so I can get friends. And so, and I felt like that was the only way I could make friends. I'm like, if I have a cute item on, then they would talk to me. Other than that, it was weird because we switched school. My mama moved around a lot. We switched school, so it was kind of hard to maintain friends. So you're always meeting new friends. And so then I got involved with like the wrong people. I could go into depth about that, but I don't know. Y'all don't have that much time. But I remember in high school, I remember getting pulled over by this cop, and I was like, I knew I didn't break any rules, but he was like, listen, and he like went into like the back and pulled out this picture of me, and he was like, I pulled this from out of one of the trap houses, and he was like, I know your family, your mother doesn't want this for you, your family don't need this for you, and I'm giving you a heads up, don't go there this week. That same house got raided. I was 16 years old. Wow. The same house got raided that week, and I was like, oh Lord, like this life thing is real. I just want a new pair of shoes. Like, oh, like I don't even want no price of this. And so fast forward, that same year I was a junior in high school, and I failed the 11th grade. And then when I failed the 11th grade, it was embarrassing, you know, because like I was supposed to be a senior and doing like all the new senior stuff. And they were like, well, in order to be a senior, you're going to have to go to night school. You're going to have the zero class before school and all that. And so I had to do all of that. And you had to take a co-op class. So the choice for co-op classes was woodwork or fashion merchandising. So, of course, I took the fashion merchandising course. And the fashion merchandising course is kind of what really catapulted or kind of was like that light bulb moment for me. Was like, okay. And she was like the only teacher that actually thought that I could like be something. Like everybody else had totally given up on me. I remember the counselor used to be like, you know, Walmart, not Walmart, but like the grocery store, Wendy's. I'm like, like, no way. I'm like, they don't wear cute shoes.
It's all about shoes.
Yeah, I just wanted to be really, I really thought that.
Like those like black leather shoes that everybody wears, like
what black leather
the little
shoes?
rubber shoes they wear, like the Chick-fil-A.
Oh, that's wrong. No, that is so wrong. That is so wrong. But, and so I ended up taking the class. It really was a game changer for me. And then I graduated as a senior with everybody else. But it was hard for me to get into college because, you know, I hadn't built a GPA for myself. But my auntie had someone she knew over at Norfolk State, which is in Virginia. And then I was able to get in on academic probation. And so I went to school and I took the fashion course. And that was the first time I ever touched a sewing machine. It was when I went to college. And then that was where I learned to sew. But I'm still at home. I'm still 20 minutes from my mama's house, even though I got to live on the dorms. But my mama was like, no, you're still screwing up. You partying on the beach and stuff, or still like you're still hanging with the same people. So she shipped me off to Atlanta, and this was 1998. So I was mad because I'm like, I only had one uncle here and like two cousins, and like you uprooted me from my whole life and everything I know, and it was like Freaknik was just like dying down. And it was a thing. So anyway, I got here. I went to college. I went to AIU at the time when it was on Peachtree, and it was different. I think the rebel child in me kind of rebelled against it for a while, but at that time, AIU was actually a quality education. Like, it was a really fashion concentrated school, and so that's where I learned pattern making and draping, lingerie, knitwear, everything. I learned it all there, but my mother could not afford to maintain all of that, so I had to get a full-time job. I worked at the dinner theater. It was a dinner theater like right around the corner at the time, so I went to school from 7:30 to like 3:30, and then I worked from 4:30 to 11 every single day. And I'm like, I can't believe that. Oh, that was my second job, because when I was in Virginia with the co-op class, you had to take you had to work at a retail store part-time, and I worked at TJ Maxx. That was my first job, and that was before TJ Maxx had any type of organization. And so that was a mess, but so this was like my second job ever, and it was at this dinner theater, which was pretty okay. It wasn't that difficult, but I was able to maintain. Then fast forward, got out of college, and then in college they hop you up like you about to just be everything. And so I graduated. I'm like, oh shoot, I'm about to move to New York. I'm about to work for Donna Karen. And then that didn't happen. Like, everything I applied for, nobody gave me a job. Like, nobody. It was like, you have no experience. And so I ended up waiting tables, being a bartender, all that type of stuff, because I'm like, I can do that and still make a living and then do fashion during the day. And so I did all that. I was everything. I worked at I was a manager at 9 West. I was a bartender. I was a real estate agent. All of that up until like as the years kept growing, and then I started meeting a lot of people in the industry. So I'll spare you the middle years and move forward. So it was about 8 years ago now. So I was working at this one restaurant, and so I'm in really like doing me. I'm still making clothes for people. I'm really kind of like, doing pretty okay. And so I wasn't going to work that much, because I'm like, I got a fashion show. And I would tell them, if I got a fashion show, I got a client, I got to make a dress, so I'm not coming to work. So, and they dealt with me. I don't know why they dealt with me all those years. I would legit like miss like 3-4 days and show up and be like, I'm at work. And so I remember one day my boss, because she was like, you need to sign this resignation letter. And I'm like, why? She was like, just jump off the cliff, girl. Just do it. You already doing it. Just do it 100% full time. But I'm like, I need to put up a couple more dollars. I ain't ready yet. And she was like, no. She was like, eat this big old meal that I prepared for you, sign this letter, and that's it. And so that was close to 8 or 9 years ago. And then I did it. And so I was like, how come like anytime I try to work a job, they get rid of me? And so I said, okay, well, God, if my attention is what you trying to get, you got it, because this is legit just me and you now. So you're going to make sure the rent lady get paid. And so it got really ugly before it got just okay. And I'll just say just okay. And I'm talking about everything from sleeping on your sofa, in my car, in my studio. It became I got evicted. I don't even know how many times I've been evicted at this point. And then I remember doing, so 2015. In 2015, it was just terrible. Life was just so bad. I think 2015, 2016, it was so bad. I mean, it was just so bad. I had no more sofas to lean on, nothing. And so I moved back home to Virginia. And as an adult, nobody wants to go back home to their mama. You feel like the ultimate failure when you go home back to your mama. But I know that was always a safe space. But you don't want to. And the Virginia, I ain't been in Virginia since 1998. I don't know nothing about what's going on around here. And so I was really low. I was in a really low place in Virginia. I felt like everybody around me, like I grew up in childhood, like ain't nobody doing nothing. I'm just like, this ain't Atlanta at all. And so I'm making a prom dress for this local girl at my mama's kitchen table. And something just said, apply for Project Runway. And I was like, that don't make no sense.
That's how it works sometimes.
Like, that don't make no sense.
Right.
Did you like see a post about it, or you just like?
No, I mean, I follow like most. I've seen every single season. I've all of that. I support it. I watch it. But to be a part of it, I never had zero desire to do any of it. It's the second time in my life at that point that I had a vision. Prior to that, I had this vision I was in Atlanta in my 2-bedroom apartment. I always had a 2-bedroom apartment because that's where I sold out of. Now nobody come visit and stay, but I sold in that room, and I had a vision for a day camp, and I'll share that with you in a minute. But it scared the life out of me when I saw that vision, because I'm like, you know how people say they got a vision? I legit had a vision. It was like a whole movie played in front of me. I cried like a baby. It scared the heebie-jeebas out of me, because I'm like, what's going on here? So I got a notebook, and I had to write it down and all that stuff. Anyway, I'm in my mama's kitchen, and I'm in Virginia, and I was like, Project Runway. I was like, no. Because I look at Project Runway, and it don't make no sense. I'm like, they legit got like 8 hours to work. I'm just like, that's crazy. Like, I know how long it take me to make a garment. And in that time frame, I'm just like, well, you want me to staple it? Like, this is crazy. And so I did the procrastination in me. I went on there. I did the application. But it was a very long, like real long application. And you had to do like a video part of it, and all these pictures and stuff. And it had to be in like midnight. It was like 1:30 in the morning. And I was just like, well, I don't miss a deadline. I'm plugging in like Mickey Mouse pictures. I'm doing anything, just to get, them little asterisks. You got to do them asterisks to get through the next page. So I just like plugging in anything just to get through it. And I'm just like, well, the very next morning I got a phone call. And I was like, who is this? They was like, I don't even remember his name at this point. He was like, it's Project Runway, we're calling you. And I'm like, why? And then he was like, well, you seem really interested. We want you to move to the next round. And I was like, for real, like, why though? Like, did you not see like the stuff that I put in there? Wow. And so, and they were like, well, they had, they was like, well, we want to do, they were in town in Atlanta. I was supposed to live in Atlanta still, right? So it was like, we'll be in Atlanta, and we're doing in person at, I think it was like W Midtown. And so I had to pack up my car, because also too in Virginia, I was coming back and forth to Atlanta every weekend. Nobody knew that I was not physically here.
Oh, wow.
So I pack up my car and I go to Atlanta that weekend. I did my interview. I had my little clothes or whatever. I go in there. Everybody got like models and stuff. I was like, dang, they ain't getting no models. I mean, like full beat, like the outfits cohesive with the shoes. I was like, oh man. And so I go in there. I do my interview, and I didn't realize that they were filming that. And I was a little nervous, but afterwards, the lady, she pulled me to the side and she said that there's something about you that the world needs to see. Mm-hmm. It's something about you that you have a story that you need to put out there and the world needs to know it. And she said, I'm going to do my best to make this happen. And so right after that, they called me that evening. It was like, well, you made it to the next round. And then fast forward, the paperwork, y'all, I thought that I gave up my first child. I bought a house, everything. You got to get a physical site evaluation. It's almost like a month filled of like everything before you even get there. Wow. And then you get, so then they say like, so on the show how they do in-house business, right? They want to get in your closet. I don't have no closet. Mind you, I'm at my mama's house in Virginia. I don't live in Atlanta. So one of my friends that was here, I was like, hey, it's time for us to do the in-house visit. Can I put my clothes in your closet in your extra room and pretend like I live here? Oh, wow. So that's what we did. They came into town to my house. Welcome to my house. And they today. And they touring my closet. And so I remember even being something in there, and they were like, this is cute. And I was like, ooh, that ain't even mine. And so that came to be, and then I was sitting on her counter, and they were like, well, we're going to do a video, and we're going to say, we want you to find 3 people that inspire you. So we want to do that Zoom call tomorrow. It was like 1 million of those. Zoom call almost every day. Like, they really take up your life. Like, they are. So got on the call, and they were like, you made it to the next round. I mean, you're going to be in the next season of Roger Runway. And I was like, and I just screamed. Because, mind you, I'm at what I feel like the lowest portion of my existence, right?
Wow.
My mother had to give me, like, the gas to get to Atlanta. And I got, like, $30, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to go get me a sandwich, like, Like, I'm at my friend's house. I'm like, girl, what you got in the refrigerator? I was literally, like, I was, like, packing PB&Js, so I'm going to be out all day,
Those ramen noodles go long.
Okay. Girl, I got like 30 recipes for them. What do you mean? And so I don't like, they aired it, and like I remember like I laughed and then I cried. It was like a release, because it's almost like, okay, so sidebar, for me, when I feel like life is like gonna be like extremely crazy, I'll come to now find that it's like God always promises the rainbow at the end of the storm, right? So I kind of look at all my crazy, it's like, in the moment, you don't like it, right? Then it's like, but knowing that something dope is on the other side of the madness. And so that was that release for me. And then legit, the very next week, we're shipped off to New York. It was not even next week, like 3 days.
Wow.
And I did that whole thing, and everybody wants to know what that experience was like. Well, it was hard. You don't know where you're going, what you're doing. You have a 30-minute phone call once a week. You have no computer, no writing utensils, all that stuff considered contraband. So I do my 1 phone call a week to my mama, and I say, just spread the message. I'm still alive. Everything's fine. And it went on that way. It was the most stressful part of my life. Something about, because you're on TV, everybody's like, 1, you're instantly a millionaire, and then 2, I remember. Okay, so I'll fast forward because the whole process was really, really crazy. But anyway, fast forward, I made it to Fashion Week, showed my collection, and you talking about a family where the only entrepreneur that I have in my family at the time was my cousin Michelle. She had a hair salon, and so nobody understood why I wanted to struggle and be a designer. They didn't get it. And so when I made it to Fashion Week, they invited my grandmother and my mother to Fashion Week. And I knew they was coming, but I said one thing. I said, please do not put them in my view, because it's going to mess me up.
Oh, wow.
And they like a good mess up moment.
That part. Yeah. It's all for the likes and the...
Yeah, and so my grandma, she one of them old ladies, she like them little sequin caps, you know? She got a little sequin cap. See the right route. I was done. Okay, I was no good, because for my mother and my grandmother, it was like their approval means everything. And so, and after the show, for my grandmother to be like, "I'm proud of you." That sealed the deal for me. I'm like, oh, that's it. I ain't got to work for nobody. I'm a millionaire in her eyes. Like, I'm successful. That's all I needed to hear was from my grandmother to say that I am proud of you at that moment. And to have, she's never seen, she knew that I made clothes because my grandma's still in Virginia. She knew I made clothes. She knew that that's what I was doing, but she didn't understand it at that level, right? And so that was a big thing. So now let's fast forward to leaving the day I left. The day I left project, mind you, I have no house. And my plane ticket was sending me back to Atlanta, right? They gave us $100. That $100 was to get you in a cab and pay to check your bag. But for some reason, I got a ride to the airport and Delta ain't charged me for no bag. So I still had my $100 bill in my pocket. And I'm standing in the middle of Atlanta airport bawling because I'm like, where am I going?
Wow.
I got suitcases. I ain't got no apartment, no nothing. And you got friends, but it's like, how you don't want to, like, I have like exhausted my relationships. Like, I done squeezed them out, okay? And so I'm staying in this airport and I'm like, and my phone is back on And now the show is airing, and my phone is going crazy. Because, mind you, we don't have phones while we're there. We don't have our phones on. And I'm standing in the middle of the airport, and everybody's like so excited. And it's like, but I'm standing in the middle of the airport with nowhere to go. Wow. Nowhere to go. And I called one of my friends, and I'm like, I don't know how long it's going to be, but can I just please come over there? And she came and got me, and I was over there. That very next week, I got a phone call. Also too, when I went and did the interview for Project, I was doing some work for with Ford, and I got a phone call when I got back that next couple of days when I was back in Atlanta, and they were like, "Hey, we doing this event called My City Four Ways, and we gonna pay you $7,000. No, it's $5,000." And I'm like, $5,000? Somebody got a negative bank account? Thank you, Jesus!
Let's go.
I was like, thank you, Jesus! Boy, I cried so bad. I was like, I'm rich! And so they told me everything that I needed to do, and I was able to get a studio and stuff. Because even when they in Atlanta, rewind, when they, at the end, when you're about to do Fashion Week, they come in, they check on Tim comes into town, he's checking on your collections, right? So I'm back in Atlanta, and I'm using one of my friend's studio so I can do my collection for Tim to come and see me, because I live there. And in that same building, when I got back, I got my $5,000, and so I was like, hey, can I give you a deposit and get this small? My studio was like a closet. It was literally a closet, and I was there for forever. It was a closet. It was like some attorneys had it. They put like all their case files and stuff in there. Mm. And so she was like, I give it to you for $400 a month. So I gave her the money, and I got my studio. And so, and also too, like I said, well, one of my friends was like, I went to Target, and we got a purple sleeping bag, and it was like, I'm gonna have to stay in here too. So that was my house. Mm. So I stayed in my studio. I made clothes and everything in there, and a lot of people didn't realize that was almost my sleeping quarters too. So it was really narrow. I'm gonna talk about, and I'm wide now, so I had to. It was just this, and I sleep in there, and so what a lot of people didn't realize was so I get up every day at 6 a.m. I don't move. But I'm up every morning, 6 on the dot, sometimes 5:59, and right now it's like my time where like I wake up with gratitude, and I'm thankful for it, and I talk to God about it, and I have my little crying moment and my little praise dance moment, because every morning when I was sleeping on the floor in my studio, I got up every morning. I set my alarm for 6 a.m. and it was at 6 a.m. So because I wanted to leave, because I didn't want everybody to know that I had been there all night long. Mm. So I would get up at 6 o'clock, wrap my sleeping bag up, put it in the corner, get in my car, and then I would just go to the local parking lot until Publix opened at 7. Publix opened up at 7 o'clock, right up there on Howell Mill. And I would go into the little handicap bathroom because there's a sink in there, right? I'm in there, getting it together, and then changing my clothes, and then I'm back to work at 7:30, and like, hey, everybody,
right. How long you had to do that for?
I did that for a very long time.
Oh, wow.
A very, very, very long time. And so, but that's like the nature and the movement of things until I was able to get an apartment and everything, and then we got recognition from the city, and things just started like moving. I'm meeting different people, but it was also a space where like I felt isolated because like nobody really understood the space that I was in. Like everybody's pulling you this and that or that way because you got 5 minutes of TV, so like, oh, I want you to be on this, that, whatever, and I'm just like, this is crazy. Or like you meet people and they're like so excited, like, oh my God, she was on Project Runway. We was at Van Store one day, and this lady was like, and then we were like, what's going on? Like, and she like set eyes on me and she charged me, and I'm like, she like WWF me onto the floor, and I'm literally like eating the carpet. Like my face is like being scraped up against the carpet, and my cousins are right there like, I'm like, get that over you. I'm like, this is not cool. And I'm just like, I see what these crazy celebrities be talking about. That's why they got security, because people crazy. So I stopped going places. I started just being in my studio. Everything was a drive-through. You don't want to go into places until it like came down, because you know the people got ADHD. So it won't be long and they'll forget all about you. But I'm just like, why people can't be normal? Why we just can't have conversation? Like, don't like squeeze me. I don't know you. I don't know you. And so
2020.
It became a thing. It became a real thing of like, so they died. So we had now one thing a project did do. They don't do a lot, but they gave us a therapist, and so he was like, you have social anxiety. I knew what anxiety was. Never knew what anxiety was till I got there. But then he said, now you have social anxiety. Well, I'm like, well, okay. But it's like a thing. Like, I've always been a bit introverted, but when I'm around people that I don't know and they look like I don't like that, because it make me do like this. And then my brain is like stranger danger, and I want to like run. And so now I have to I'm better with it. I had to like cope with it and talk, because my grandmother used to say that my being a fashion designer would be more than just that. It would become your ministry in a way. And I didn't know what that meant at first until as I got older and it became a thing. And so because I know that and it is a thing, like I'm okay with being vocal. I feel like I owe it to like everybody around me, especially who wants to be in the fashion space, to be like very transparent about my journey and what I had to deal with and the things I go through, because we make it so glamorous on like social, right? But nobody is talking about like the hours and hours and hours that they have to, the terrible things, It's a whole lot of people that have like millions of followers, or what we call like celebrity, and they dead broke. Or they living off of people, or they maxing out loans because they want to give everybody this smoke and mirror image that's not really real. But like, so for me, as much as I can, I always want to talk about like where I am. Like even right now, I'm good. I ain't got to worry about rent. Thank the Lord. I have my own apartment. Like I'm good, and I've been that way for a good, and it feels good to be good. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so I'm able to give my mama a couple dollars to go to Niagara Falls with her friends, and that feels great though to be able to do that for her. But I'm like, girl, I ain't there yet. Like she talking about she want a new house and everything. I'm like, give me a minute, I'm working. But it's important for me to be able to to talk about like where I am, because it hasn't always been good. And even as an entrepreneur, it go like this and this. Yeah. You got to be tough. People done tried to sue me, and I'm just like, I ain't even do nothing. Like, I learned how like iffy people can be. I used to be like, well, if you say like, okay, we gonna do this, you gonna pay me how much? Okay, then cool. But no, you got to put people on contracts. People when I tell you,
on you with a quick
we can't breathe air together if it ain't on paper. And it's sad that it has to be that way, but that's just how people are. And me, I'm still that nice person, be like, well, you can pay me later. And they'll be like, I pay you later. I'll be like, okay. And then my business partner's like, oh, hell no. No. That's why we're going to sign this contract, because it's also going to hold you accountable so that you can't waver either. And so, but so many things have like transpired. I've been able to, make a living doing what I do, which is I'm very thankful for. But I'll go back to my nonprofit. So I had
go ahead.
I had this vision for this nonprofit, because I always used to say, with the gift that I'm given, how can I pour back into like another young person? What can I do with that? And I never understood what that meant, because I'm like, I'm just a little bald-headed girl that know how to sew. Like I ain't changing the world, but like I do want to do something. And then I had this vision that was like, this day camp for kids. And so we are official 501c3 now. And that's a labor. My God. I ain't know. Like, you really got to want to have a 501. Like, it's really got to come from here, because they're intense. And so it's called I'm So Fantastic. And it's a nonprofit that we were supposed to kick this year, but this year went crazy. But next year, even if I have to die first, it's happening next year. But it's a day camp for kids ages 9 to 15, and we just teach young people we teach them how to sew. But the most important thing about being I'm So Fantastic is every morning they sit in our social circle. And in that social circle, we talk about why are they so fantastic individually? Because I want all these young people to know that you can look like anything, be anything, identify as whatever you want to, as long as you are a great person and you put in your good work out there. And also letting them know that, being as, why are you so fantastic? Not Beyonce or whoever these other people are, but like, who are you as an individual? Because we're also uniquely different. And that's what makes us great. Like, God created us all to be different because we all have different paths and different assignments. So what is yours and why are you so great? And having people that are like in the creative space where it's like art, music, whatever that means, to come in there and talk to these babies, because it's like they always say like, well, the sky's the limit. Well, show them what that sky look like. Right. Show them what that means. If that means to go on a field trip or whatever. So then they get to put together their projects. We teach them a skill. Because I also believe that all things creative bring out all things creative. And so this might spark them to want to do this, that, or other thing, whatever that means. But I want to give that to them. And they get to do their show. They get to put on their little production show. And then that's it. And so we have another one that we're working on right now, which is going to be, this is going to be a couple years in the making because I really think this is how I'm going to lose weight because that's how much it's stressing me out. This one it's called Molly's House, and it's a 2-year residency for artists, and that is music, that is fashion, that is everything. And because I literally know what it means to be the starving artist, I'm talking about, I can really tell you creatively 100 ways how to use $5 and stretch it to Monday to Sunday. I really can. So I know what that means. And so we have a 2-year residency where these artists can live while they're working on their next project. And not only are they working on the next project, but to bring in people who are excelling in whatever they're doing. So if you a dope book writer and you at New York Times bestseller, well, you coming on in there, you gonna help them seal the deal on this book. You know what I'm saying, and get that book going like that. And then have a little ecosystem because they're gonna live off the land. We're gonna have a garden. They're gonna do all the stuff, but that's the majority of it. And then they get there, stay there for 2 years, and then we're gonna bring in the next batch of creatives, and we're gonna have a fashion room with all the machines in there. We're gonna have a writer's room. We're gonna have all these things so that they can be great and move along because somebody got to do it. I know what it means to be in that spot. And when you broke,
do you plan on launching?
Yeah, oh girl, yeah, it's gonna be a big thing.
No, so when do you plan on launching it?
I told you, give me a minute now. I'm working. I'm trying to work. Right, but I'm trying to work with the city right now. Like it's a lot, so we're trying to get a building. At first it was supposed to be a house, but we want to have at least 15 artists at a time, right? Okay. So we need way more space so that everybody can have the individual space and to be able to house like all these different compartments, right? We still trying to beg the city to give us a house for So Fantastic for these kids. So it's a lot. People, that's another thing. That's a whole nother sidebar with working with the city and stuff like that. People always say we want to enrich minorities and do all this type of stuff, but I really need somebody to truly put their money where their mouth is, because the sound is a good sound bite until you actually start asking them for it. Whole nother thing.
So I mean, you said a lot. I mean, just like dropped a lot of gems. Yeah. And I'm just like thinking about how your journey even leads to this nonprofit vision. But I think one thing that stood out to me kind of when you were telling your story around like all of these series of events happening to force you into like your destined space. Like you couldn't miss it.
No.
Right? What is that? Do you see that happen a lot like in your journey of
like, I've come to the understanding. Yep. I come to even at this very moment, all of us were meant to be in these seats in this space at this time. I feel like everything, it happens according to where it wants to, even the ugliest stuff. And we don't never want to like say with the ugly stuff, like like the good stuff is like, ooh, that was meant for me. That was But even the ugly is something. If you take the emotion out of it, or you give your time to sit and think about it, what did I get out of that? What did I learn from that? Because I feel in every situation is a moment for us to say, okay, I can learn from this. I can build on top of this. Even in the ugly, how my grandmother used to say, is a difference between being still and doing nothing. And in that still time when you can't figure out why the opportunity ain't coming and why this ain't coming, well, develop your skill. Like work on something good. Like really be pushing yourself in the moment, so when that sucker do happen, it's like boom, you ready for it. As opposed to just doing nothing, because ain't nothing happening when nothing is happening.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And I just think like for those that are like either creatives or entrepreneurs, and I know I have my own journey. I started Fashion Row Collective 2 years ago, but it started back in 2010 when me and my sisters, we launched a clothing line, a clothing company. We didn't know anything about putting a line together. Like, my sister was a designer and she designed well. We're like, you know what, you have a dope idea. We think we can make something out of this. We kind of had that unction. A friend said, hey, sign up for Africa Fashion Week in New York. We signed up, we got accepted. We're like, we don't even have a line to put together, and just by raw passion, figuring out how to find people to make our clothes or whatnot. We showcased during Africa Fashion Week in New York, and it was a great feedback. Like, we rode that wave for a while, and it was like people were asking, where can we carry your product? We're like, we don't even know anything about production.
Girl, okay, so look, like 2014, right? So we would go to Magic. So if y'all know Magic, the big retail show, right? Yeah. So we would go to Magic, and so we were going for the sourcing. Because, Magic, okay, so when Diddy and Missy and Jay-Z all had the hot lines, all the black folks at Magic and Bezos like living their best life until Magic was like,
too much.
No. Then they started charging people. If you ain't a buyer, it's $500 to get in here now.
Wow.
And it still is now. So then we just went for the sourcing, which is like the most valuable part, right? And so we went, it was like 2014, I think, or 2013. We went for the sourcing. And it was a lady named Mercedes Gonzalez. She was out of New York, and she taught this course about how to create a fashion line on a shoestring budget. I'm like, well, we got to go to this class, this seminar. And we learned a lot. And she was like one of them real fast talking, like, go get type of New York. So I got her information, and because she did consulting, she said, I can take your brand to the next level. I'm like, I got to meet this lady. And so she said, but then after I started talking to her, she was like, well, I'm $200 an hour. And I was like, I said, well, how much is an email? Right. So anyhow, like working with her, so at Magic, like everyone's there selling their fashion brands. So at minimum, to sell your stuff, to showcase your stuff at Magic to attract buyers, it's $10,000 minimum, and that ain't even including the marketing and stuff. You get like a lemonade stand, one chair, and a trash can. That's it. Wow. And that's to start with. So they had this thing where they invited new designers to come in, like the new designer incubator inside of Magic. So I was able to do it. She said, send me your line sheet. And I'm like, a line? What? I ain't got none of that. So I had to put something together, and I put this line together. I knew nothing about what I thought was going to happen. I thought that I was going to have this collection, and I was going to meet people. And so dumb, because like we would go and buy. So anyway, at one point in time, my friend had a store. We used to go to Magic, buy stuff for their line. That's when Eve had that really, really bad collection. It was terrible.
What was that again?
That was like 12, 13. It was when everybody was hot. It was when Eve had a line and Jay-Z's line. When Diddy used to have like, you talk about a lemonade stand at Magic, right? Diddy used to have like these plexiglass mini mansions inside the joint. It was the craziest thing, right? Wow. But anyway, so I knew that people going to like buy things, but like for the new designers, I thought they would just be like, look at it and be like, well, that's cool. People actually bought from us.
Wow.
And so my mama was like, oh shoot. My mama was like, I just wrote you a check for $7,000 from this one lady for her store. And I was like, why you do that? We wrote about $30,000-$40,000
wow.
in sales.
Didn't have a way to do it.
I'm at the Planet Hollywood Hotel. Like,
hey, what am I do? What am I do?
We got got these fabrics from Joanne Fabrics.
Don't know enough about getting in them bowls. I
don't know no factories. I think out of all those contracts, it was this one guy had a shop in some small town, and in my 2-bedroom apartment, I was able to make him like 20 shirts. I don't even know, the sizing was wrong and everything. He didn't say nothing, but he say nothing. He said he sold them. I was like, thank God that was done.
Right.
But to your point, like I didn't know what I was doing.
It's the true humble beginnings, but you have to start somewhere, right?
Yeah.
And we did that for about like 7 years, doing like custom, then transitioning, try to do like small scale mass production, and then eventually, long story short, had to put it on the shelf. And I'm not thinking I'm going to go back into fashion in any kind of way, and then start up Fashion Row Collective 2 years ago. And so some people may think like, oh, you're just now doing this. Like, no, we've been sowing the seeds, doing the work. True, I ain't new to this. I'm true to this. You know what I'm saying? So, sorry, I'm from Atlanta, guys. So sometimes that makes them out.
I get it. ATL. I get you.
I literally grew up around the corner.
Really?
Right across from what used to be the Dome.
Okay.
Vine City.
Ooh,
Vine City back in.
You can't go.
Vine City back in the 90s or 80s or whatever is it's a place you just don't want to show up at.
You still don't.
That part too. We're getting better. We're gentrifying.
Right.
We're getting better.
Right. It's like because of that too. Like growing, like being in the industry. This lady, she was $200 an hour, and like even that, I found myself finding ways to pay her because nobody wanted to help me. Nobody wanted to like give me the information that I needed. Nobody wanted to. I'm talking about as simple as like labels for the clothes. Like you really, you think I'm gonna compete with your business with a label?
Like no one showed you the ropes, and honestly, that's why I created Fashion Row Collective. It's like, finding that community, like bringing people together to help each other. Because I don't have all the answers, but someone has these experiences that can help the next person.
Yeah. Well, part of what I do now, like part of my business right now is consulting small brands.
Nice.
I can bring I can take a concept to full creation. And if you really serious about like what you want to do, and you got to have some coins too because it's expensive. I can take you from the thought to the retail. And it's just being in the trenches is nothing I don't know. I literally have like a Rolodex of information. You want labels? I can give you 100 different companies. You want vinyl, plastic, the zipper that glow in the dark, whatever you can think of. You want a factory that does sustainability. You want the one that's fast fashion. I work with one right now. It's not funny.
I'm not going there. We're not going to step into that. But she has a beautiful line.
No, we can, because I need to vent. Can I vent for a second?
Yeah, we're transparent here.
Oh,
she has a beautiful line that she.
Why you have no wine?
Because we would have to go at some point. Next time, we'll make sure we have some wine here because we need to get all the details. But she has a beautiful collection that she has on Shein. Is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah, but wait, listen.
Okay, wait, I didn't say it right.
No, you did. But let me listen, guys. And I'm talking about this is like real time happening right this moment, right? I started working with Shein 2.5 years ago. When everybody was like, Shein is stealing people designs. They got this, I mean, like the laundry list of stuff. And then out of nowhere, I didn't know nothing about the people. I think I ordered a bathing suit. When my friend was going to Mexico, it was like $9. I'm like, well, if I don't get the bathing suit, it's $9.
It's okay.
Right. But I got the bathing suit. I'm like, okay, not bad. It was $9. Shipping wasn't too bad. Anyway, fast forward that November. Right before the pandemic, I got an email from Shein. I'm like, I thought it was spam. I didn't answer. They emailed me again, and then it looked like an actual real email. So I emailed them back. Fast forward, they want to work together. They wanted to say, well, everyone's saying that we're taking from small brands and we're doing this, whatever. Let's work with small brands. So I said, okay, cool. We put out our first collection with them. The program is called Shein X. At this point, it's so many designers, even in Atlanta, that's working with them and doing it. I think I put on at least 15 people to be a part of it because, like, we all need a check, right?
Right.
What they call it now, gatekeep. I don't do that. And so, dropped the first collection in 2019. In 2020, at the heart of the pandemic, when everything shut down. And I think when anybody who's a designer or non-essential, I was like, oh Lord. Oh, Lord. And then we all came like professional mask makers and all that sort of stuff. And so the collection dropped. And I didn't think it would do well because we're in the middle of the pandemic. Like, where people going? Don't nobody need to buy no clothes. We in a house. But it did. went absolutely crazy. Fast forward, I make a good check with Shein.
Sit in that a little bit.
Ooh, it's cute. But it's kind of one of those things where now, so okay, let me tell y'all what happened. Last month,
Change this side.
right? So last month, Shein did a design summit in LA. They wanted to bring out a lot of designers. They even had like designers to like showcase their own, not their brands with Shein, but their own brands. And they had buyers, Nordstrom. A lot of people was there. I got to meet Laquan Smith. I'm like, first of all, sir, you is like, Laquan Smith is fine. Like, I'm like, dude, you is a gorgeous man, child. And I'm like, and he's like this tall. Oh, I'm only 5 feet too. But he was dropping all the gems, so they invited everybody, right? So then after that, they was like, you know what? We want to bring a whole bunch of people to China. We want y'all to, people always saying we got sweatshops and all that stuff. We want y'all to see what's going on. So I said, I'll go. Yeah. So they put this whole trip together. Leading up, it was nightmare, child. The day they asked me to go to China was the day my passport expired.
Oh, wow.
You see how this thing work? You got to go through this stuff, right? So I said, okay. I had to go to Arkansas, in the middle of nowhere in Arkansas, to get make up a because in order to get like the 1-day passport, you got to have an itinerary. You got to be leaving out in 14 days.
Right.
I'm not leaving out in 14 days. I'm leaving out in like a month. But I also had to get a visa, so we had to make up a fake itinerary and tell the people that we got a date so they can give us a date. You had Colorado or Arkansas was your 2 places that you can go and get a passport. I'm in the middle of nowhere, Arkansas. My mom was like, call me every 10 minutes. To get a passport. You had to fly into Little Rock, then drive an hour and a half out to this place. But anyway, got that, had to come back, get a visa. So now everything good. We going to China. On our way to China, get to China, grand time, honey. They put us up in the Four Seasons in the middle of Guangzhou, honey. I'm getting a back massage. I'm like, this is it. I am living. The lady was like, do you want turn down service? Yes!
Turn down for what?
Yes. Ooh, grand time. We got to see their factories. We got to see how the clothes are made. It was so dope because we went into one and they were actually making one of my dresses. I was like, did y'all set this up? And they was like, no. They was like, we didn't even know that, that particular factory would be making your actual dress. I was like, this is so dope to actually see like on that scale, a factory making your own stuff. So I was psyched. So then we got to see how they ship, first of all, their technology. The U.S. is ghetto. Their technology is like
keep up with that level of volume. You gotta have that level.
The little robots moving around, picking up. The stuff, the glove making thing. The technology is next level that they got over there. And then, like, even the shipping warehouse, how the thing can say, well, it understands how many items is in a box and what's in the box, and then it goes to like one little thing, and then it drops it. I'm like, this is scary because I'm like, these robots gonna take over. Like, it's just so cool to see, like, but at that level, they have to have that, right?
Because of the efficiencies.
It's crazy to watch it, and everybody's like, well, the factories was like, they took out to the good factories. Well, this was the good factories. Also, too, they use a lot of them squatter plates. They don't have no toilets in a lot of these places. I can't squat. I'm about to die. It don't always work. How you sit here trying to balance, trying to pee? It's a squatter plate in the floor, and they don't have. A lot of places don't have toilets. None of the factories had any toilets.
I went to China once, and it was definitely a culture shock.
Even in the airport, if you go in there, there's 2 toilets over there and all squatter plates. I'm waiting in line for the toilet, right? Like, cause I can't be trying to aim and stuff, getting pee on my jeans. I can't do. I'm not doing all that.
I'm done.
Right. And so even in that factory, it seemed it was a factory. It wasn't glamorous. With stuff everywhere. The bathroom was nasty. It was smelled like straight up pee. But it was a factory. And then we took us to the Innovation Center. And the Innovation Center is where it's like where the brainchild is. This is where they do like small batch, where they do sampling. They talk with designers like in-house. Like we witnessed like they had like a model, and then they had like the dress form, and they had the guy like on video camera just like this. And he's like talking to the designer like, this is what your piece looked like, and that sort of thing. The Innovation Center was next level dopeness. Wow. The U.S.'s ghetto. Next level dopeness. And they had all the snacks. I'm eating everything. Oh, they had.
Like the food in China though?
I got a little frustrated a little bit. I don't eat chicken feet.
Yeah, I don't eat McDonald's.
Me either.
It's like at Armageddon, but I ate at McDonald's in China.
It's probably better.
It was better.
It's better.
They had like fried chicken at McDonald's.
They got real chicken.
They had fried chicken in McDonald's.
Yeah.
And like KFC had like spaghetti.
Oh, listen, they got two things that they got a ton of that I saw was KFC and 7-Eleven. Yeah. But the 7-Eleven, now 7-Eleven is like real like nostalgia moment for me, because in Virginia we got tons of 7-Eleven, but in Atlanta we got Quick Trip, and so I'm in like China 7-Eleven having my life. I'm getting like all the snacks.
Slurpees. We went down. We were in Guangzhou and
Guangzhou.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Let me not China now.
Let me not get caught by the China.
Get it right.
But so we went to like the Canton Fair, and it's like an expo. I was trying to do some sourcing or whatever. And 2 days into the expo, I'm like, nah, this ain't gonna work. Like, they didn't have what we were looking for. And so I went with my dad because he was trying to do some other business stuff. And we're from Nigeria. So I'm like, I see some people, they look like from Nigeria. We need to talk to them.
You saw some black people?
Yeah, there were some other, it was like people from around the world. You didn't go to the right place. But it was literally people around the world would come to this convention, and buyers and stuff like that. They have like manufacturers and suppliers set up. So like 2 days in, we were going to be there for 2 weeks. And I'm like, 2 days in, we're not finding what we need. Like, what are we going to do for the rest of the 2 weeks? So I'm like, I see some guys, they look like they're Nigerian. Asked them if, they know how to navigate here. So we started talking, my dad started talking to this one guy. He's like, yeah, I know where you can go buy all this fashion stuff, where the factories or whatever. They said, just follow us. So he took us on the subway.
You followed some strange people?
We followed them. I would say I have a little bit of, I got a lot of bit of street smarts. If I left it to my dad, he would have been kidnapped somewhere. He was trying to give some strange guy his luggage because he said he was the taxi driver. I'm like, you don't know where this guy came from. Anyway, so we went, we followed this guy. He took us to what's called Fashion City. Come off the subway or the train, and literally right out the train station, there was this restaurant called Mama Africa. and I'm like, there's a black person, and it was like, so what we say Nigeria, we call Naja. It was like Naja Town in China. Like, have you had Chinatown everywhere else? It was Naja Town in China. Like, tons of Africans, tons of Nigerians, and like they were doing like exporting stuff. But it was like Fashion City. You'll go to all of these, like shops and shops galore. People come from around the world, buy different like wholesale products.
In Guangzhou.
Yeah. That was once we hit that spot, it was like, yes, I don't think 2 weeks will be enough anymore. Like we were so inundated. Like
I'm down to go back because I got to go back. I'm so ready to go back.
I don't know if it's still like that. This was back in like 2011 that we went, but I was like inundated. And they had a lot of your knockoff stuff too, but they had a lot of like
in the middle of where it's all made.
It was there, but they had like lots of like European kind of styles and cuts, and it was just fashion. Literally, it was called Fashion City galore. But that was a major culture shock. But like after a while, I think anytime
I didn't like it. I felt like I was stared at. I'm like, I know that y'all don't see a lot of fat bald headed black girls, but the staring, say hello or something. It was just, I didn't like it. It was uncomfortable.
The guy missed his exit off the train because he was busy staring at us, and it was just like,
we were in the elevator, and the little Asian boy, all these black folks, he was like, whoa. I was like, I know, baby, you culture shock. I know.
But at the same time, they haven't seen us, and then like their programming is monitored, so they can't.
Very monitored.
Yeah, so
that's why I said the U.S. is ghetto. Even their TikTok, there are so many things that they don't see. Like our kids can see all the stuff, all the crazy. Theirs can't. It's very censored, very monitored. They try to keep it as pure as possible. but the food, you can have the chicken feet. They eat a lot of chicken feet. I don't eat meat, so I was very frustrated with a lot of the options. You can only green vegetable meat, but so much. I need a carb. I need a something. It wasn't working until we got to Singapore, which is our next leg. Singapore is beautiful. America is ghetto. Singapore is gorgeous. I would love to. Singapore is absolutely beautiful. It's illegal to chew gum there. That's how much they do not play about their land. Then my friend, she got the gum fall out of her mouth. I'm like, I'm not going to jail for you. Like, really, dude? They told us at the airport, throw it away. And you talking to the people and it falls right out her mouth. I was like, done. I'm like, accomplice. I'm going to jail in another country because she got gum.
That's intense.
Right. Okay. So let me tell y'all what happened was recently. We get back, right, which is supposed to be a good trip for us to see what they got going on, and they gave us everything. They showrooms. They was like, get whatever you want. I got everything. Taking all the people's stuff. Get back. All over. Next thing I know, because I'm used to a good amount of hate mail too for dealing with them. I'm talking about, if I put my phone down for 2 minutes, I come back 100 notifications. Like 75 people telling me to die, kill yourself, you're a sellout, you have no morals, you're an idiot, you're stupid, you got paid to be there, it's propaganda. And I'm just like, what the whole hell is happening here? Even now, I don't even want to look at. I have not looked at it in a couple of hours. I just can't see it anymore. I can see how people talking about like cyberbullying. That's a real thing. Like, I'm not really affected by like the opinions of others, like, because you know how people can be on the other side of these phones. But nobody wants to get an influx of. I'm at this point, because I got this little 15-year-old girl that works with me. For about 7 hours the other day, all she was doing was blocking and deleting. Wow. Well, 7 whole hours. Jeez. As of last night, I said whatever y'all want to put on there is gonna live there, because I don't even have the time or the energy for her to even do it, because we got other stuff that we need to be working on, not blocking and deleting folks. But there is this thing. Shein is maybe like 7 to 8 years old, but they have come out of nowhere and taken the top spot. They make more money than Zara, H&M, all these people together. They're killing it. Now, we all know what happens when you take the top spot. People are naturally going to hate you for being there. And people saying they have slave conditions and all that type of stuff. Like I told the people, could be true. I don't know. I don't live in China. I'm not making the clothes. I don't know what the people do. And I'm one of those people, I don't never want to take away from like what could possibly be true on the other side of the water. But I'm just like, we got real shit going on right here that y'all not addressing. We got homeless folks right here. My mama's Social Security sucks. Let's talk about that and how I have to help her do that. And this is the other thing that's going on right here. So, and then I'm like, is it really a humanity effort? I'm like, y'all telling me to go kill myself. So is it really about humanity? Because like, you ain't being real human right now by telling me to do that. So it's like, I don't know. And then they heard the guy in Singapore say that he has to fly to Washington almost every month because the white people, you know how white men don't like to be challenged now. That entitlement is real. About how they lobby against them every second because the white people, because Shein is taking a top spot, they are losing money. You don't want to mess with their shareholders. Making all that money. Fashion has a whole lot more to do with clothes. You're talking about real estate, land, money, this, that, water, cotton, who runs this and that one. And they can't handle it. They cannot handle it. And so you got people like me on the very small totem pole of the deal, people attacking us. How can you work with such a I'm talking about you guys would have, I'm talking at this point, it has to be thousands. They got the one girl who her name is Danny. She's an influencer that came along. Bless her heart. She had to delete everything. The one girl, she had to delete her TikTok. It got crazy. The last 2 days.
Just within the week, right?
The last 3 days.
3 days. Wow.
The last 3 days, I have had an interview with CNN, New York Times, Times Magazine, BBC News, NBC News, some UK reporter. I've always wanted to talk to all these people. But not like this.
Right.
Like, I'm like, oh wow. Like, it has been so crazy, and everybody's making like these, like, I follow Diet Prada. Y'all follow Diet Prada? I follow Diet Prada. They got all the fashion news, but they have dragged us. Ooh, they have dragged us. It's so many pages. And then it's like, tag them. Wow. No, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that, because a lot of people, like, it's one thing. I know that I have been guilty of like looking at a storyline like on our favorite Instagram account, and then they have written up what their perspective, what their narrative is, and then okay, if that's what they said, then that's what it is. Then we're commenting on it, like giving our judgment on it, but we know absolutely nothing about what actually happened. Right. But we're giving an opinion on something we don't know nothing about. I don't do that anymore. I legit don't go to no news sources. Even if I see somebody with an ugly outfit on Instagram, I don't say nothing. The BET Awards was garbage, but that's between us.
I mean,
them outfits was absolutely hideous. But did I go on Instagram and say it? Nope. I mind my business, because if that's what you want to wear, that's on you. But every single stylist that had anything to do with it or fashion, everybody needed to be fired. It was hideous. It was absolutely hideous. Sis. Nothing amen, right? Plastic collection plate to all of them to get new clothes. I'm like, everybody got these new ugly tees and everything, but y'all didn't get no cute clothes.
That is like, again, going through your journey, what it took for you to get there, right? And now finding an outlet that is worth all the trials and challenges and tribulations that you went through to get there. Like, now you have an establishment where you are getting the resources. It is paying off for you. And instead of celebrating that, people are attacking. Like, they just totally
attacking. And I mean, like, attacking. I really had a moment the other day. I left work and went home and went to bed because I was so sad. Because I'm just like, if people knew me as a person, they knew that I never want to be on the other side of wrong. And I always like to operate in integrity. That's important for me. Because as an entrepreneur, I always say I literally can't afford to be an asshole. That's too expensive. It's too expensive. So I try to get out here and I try to do the best that I can with what I have and the resources that I have, just to be a good person, so I can reap the benefits of being a good person, so I continue to be an entrepreneur and be in my apartment where I like to be, and not that sleeping bag that I once was. So for people to sit here and say, you have no morals, and I mean, literally go kill yourself, go jump off a bridge, go choke yourself, and I'm just like, all of this over a fast fashion brand? Because y'all think that they have people's working 72 or so hours a week. People work 72 hours a week here.
Yeah. Right.
The lady was like, well, you don't work 3 or 4 days in a row. You a lie?
How about 24?
You a lie? I can't. It has been this many times, y'all, that I have been to the emergency room for exhaustion, dehydration, everything, because I work that much. I don't do it no more. As of last month, y'all, I get off work at 7:30. But I've been there. I've done all that. So don't tell me like I don't know what that means. Right. I never want to discount what somebody else is going through, but I'm like, we got our own stuff going on right here on USS soil. I really truly can't focus on what's going on the other side of the water. I can't. I'm not there. I don't know what these people is doing. But how about we put all that stuff over there? Like I also work with Hallmark. I work with Hallmark Mahogany, and we create all types of stuff with them, content for them, scarf lines and stuff with them. And then people are like tagging Hallmark, don't work with her. All this stuff in the last 3 days, y'all. It has been so crazy.
So would you say that's the part that you don't like about the fashion industry, being in the social, being a spotlight? Is that the part you don't like, or how would you put it?
I honestly, like, if it was up to me, I would be creating collections and nobody would know who I was. I would be like a ghost.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like,
I would totally be a ghost.
Be in the background, doing what you're doing, and not.
Yeah, but I'm forced to be like in the forefront, like which I don't mind, because again, I feel like I'm meant to talk and share things, right?
Yeah.
So I'm getting better at it, and I don't mind it, but it can be very hard because I'm real sensitive. Like, I cry when the wind blows. So it's hard for me to like take on criticisms. Yeah. I've become tougher as a business person because people aren't nice in business. So I've developed a tougher skin in that way. But I'm still a human. There's only so much that you can take when, like, you open up your phone and your notifications is somebody saying, go jump off a bridge, you're dumb, go kill yourself. Like, nobody wants to see that.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to see that. Or I'm used to a certain amount of stuff because you just can't please everybody. Yeah. Nobody's going to be happy. But, like, I just want, like, in all things, can we be civil with one another? Like, I don't have to agree with nothing that none of y'all doing, up to nothing, but can we still have, like, respectful dialogue? Can we, like, can we just agree to disagree respectfully? That's all I ask, instead of the crazy.
Right. So, how do you protect yourself from that? I know you said you stopped commenting. Is there another thing that you do to protect your mind, protect your heart, to protect your space from taking all that in?
Put your phone down. Put my phone down. Yeah. Again, everybody's on this, soft life. I'm like, I like this word. I want that. Yeah. And a part of that is not working those to 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning.
Boundaries.
And like, there are so many things that I feel like is on what I call my purpose-driven life. Yeah. This walk that I'm on, that I ask every day to make sure that I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, because I don't want to miss my bus stop. I always say, I don't want to miss my bus stop. Mm-hmm. And I always want to make sure that I'm doing that. So in order for me to do that, my mental got to be good. Mm-hmm. I'm working on getting fine, losing this weight, because like if I ain't healthy and I drop dead, I can't do all this good stuff, right? Mm-hmm. So like working on that, changing my diet, so many things that go into like, because I have to be strong, I have to be healthy so I can like put these things out there that I'm supposed to do. But when it comes down with like people, it's like just cutting it off. Even if you call me and I'm having a rough day and be like, girl, let me tell you what happened. No. I can't take on your stuff right now. Because I got my stuff. Yeah. I love you and I care. Yeah. But maybe tomorrow.
We've been having
we do that.
They want you to sit back though.
Oh yeah. Okay. I was into it.
Right.
But me and Hope, we start our conversation. How are you today? Is it okay to talk about business or what we're going to talk about? And we let each other talk about our lives before we go into business. I think that's important.
The first podcast I was going to start was Life Be Lifin'. That was going to be the title, because life really be lifin' now, as of late. And I love what you just said, because I was in a situation where, I'm trying to hold space for a certain person, and I didn't realize that each time that this person called, they would just be dumping their situation. I'm like trying to hold space and be empathetic and all this stuff. But they just kept dumping. And I'm like, I'm going through my own situation. Like, I don't have the capacity to hold what you got going on and still be very present and alert for what I have to do.
But where's that fine line, though? It's like we want to be there for, like, each other. And it should be, like, a safe space to say, okay, if we're a friend and you're my confidant, like, this is what I'm going through, right? Mm-hmm. But don't pile up all your shit on me. Like, I don't know. Like, what is that?
It comes with maturity, I think. Like, I know there's times where I'm going through stuff, but I know Hope does not need to hear that right now. So let's just get to the point.
I'm saying my stuff, though.
You do.
I try to be conscious that I'm not dumping.
No, you don't do that.
But we should be able to do that. I don't know what is the balance in that.
I can't say I'm in balance right now. Like, I used to give and give and give. My pendulum has swung to the other side. I have not found my middle yet. Okay. I'm in the place where I'm like, it was very hard for me to like think about me and put me first, and so I'm like, I'm doing the extreme where I'm like, it feels very uncomfortable to not get all, because I'm a problem solver. I'm like a fixer. Like, if you have a problem, like, I'm gonna give you every solution. My day job, my career has been in consulting, like management consulting. So I'm like, we fix problems. So if you have a light problem, like,
wait, said matchmaking, like dating?
No. I wish I need that. Management consulting. You heard what you wanted to hear. And so, I want to help. Like, my name is Hope. By default, I want to give you encouragement and hope and all this stuff and inspiration. But I have to learn, like, I can't. It was one situation where, again, I'm holding space for this individual, and I literally just had a breakdown. Like, it was so intense, so much going on. This person calls me, and, and I was like, I'm just having a breakdown, and, like, I just, and it was almost like, it was just like a passing comment, and that person just went into what they had going on. And I'm just like, well,
they don't sound like this person your friend.
They are a great person. They truly
being a great person and a friend is two different things.
They're a great person. I think
being a great person and your friend is two different things.
Okay. Don't get me in trouble. But I think again, that was on me and learning how to set those boundaries, right? Like, I created that, right, by giving that person endless amount of space, whether they asked for it or not. Like, I'm thinking, like, I'm being there for you or being a friend, whatnot. But at the end of the day, you got to take care of yourself. You got to take care of your whole mindset. And, you know, at that moment, that person didn't hold space for me. And it was like, well, damn, you know, like, how does that work? And you have to find those moments to, like, carve out your space, carve out your health, like mental health, because if you're not present for you, you can't be that for anybody else. And when people come at you and attack you, like what they're doing, like, you wouldn't even have the mental fortitude to just, like, stick with it without, like, caving. So if you're not feeding into yourself, you know.
Let's see what they talking about right now. Y'all want to see the pages?
Okay. Real time.
Let's see. I ain't got no glasses on.
We get into these comments. It didn't slow down yet?
It ain't good, y'all.
Real time.
It ain't good, y'all. A lot of links to a lot of articles. It ain't good, y'all. Oh, I mean, it ain't good, y'all.
I'm surprised you responded to my message.
One of them was my little 15-year-old work with. She responded to you first.
Oh, okay. Well, kudos.
She do a good job of being me.
Okay, good.
She can handle it. I just can't.
Yeah, no. It's
I just
personal
can't.
to you.
No, I think in all things, and like when it comes down to like business, you know, you get a certain amount, like right now. So as a brand, I'm moving into larger sizes. I have a new pieces that I'm dropping as of next month, and the decision for that is because as a woman who has a whole lot of body, it's difficult finding clothes and standard sizing that fits me. And so I got really frustrated with that. So I said, I'm no longer doing that. And then, like, the size 2 was never my customer. Like, the 16 would sell out and the size 2 would collect dust and nobody's buying it. So I would have to put that one on sale because she's not buying it. So anyway, just moving into that. And even with that, you will get stuff like, oh, you're supporting obesity and that's not healthy. And
You can't please anybody, though.
Child,
so it's like you just don't even try.
This is what I learned. And I think that people who love themselves, who are happy with life, who have a good amount of gratitude and just a generally good person, they're not on social media giving people hell. They're not doing that.
Right.
So I almost feel sad because it's like you got to be at a really low place to like say certain things to people, or especially tell somebody to go off themselves. Like, you got to be in that. You probably in that place. Right. You want somebody to join you. Like, you really got to be like at a low. So I would get mad sometimes because I'm sensitive, but then I'm just like, man, like almost kind of empathetic because it's like, man, they really got to be hurting and really got to be at a place to even say that. And then all the, oh, you're supporting obesity, spare me, because you really don't care nothing about this fat body I'm in. You don't. You just don't want to see it. But that's also a lot of people projecting. Like, listen, my new sizes are 10 to 20, and that's middle of America. Yeah. All of them fit that spot. And, like, I feel like everybody deserves to look nice no matter what size you are. And if anything, I feel like if the big girl puts on a nice dress and she feels great about herself, that might catapult her to say, you know what, I look nice. It might bring her spirits up. Then she may want to make some changes or whatever, but that's up to her. Ain't got nothing to do with what she eating. I don't have to do with that. I want everybody to be like the healthiest version of themselves, but I'm not a doctor, and I'm not here to tell you that you need to lose weight or talk bad about you. If anything, I'm gonna say wherever you at in life, how can I help you there? Right. You know what? You might be a big girl like me, but you know what? Let's put some clothes on and make these skinny helpers mad. You know, like,
we're at the place where, especially in this culture, you gotta love the skin you're in, love the place that you're in,
and don't pay attention. What I don't like is like social media. It's like like we're in these spaces where like everybody's like, well, if you don't agree with what I agree with, well, I'm gonna get a whole bunch of people to shut you down and cancel you. Yeah. And I'm just like, well, how did we get here? Yeah. It's even one girl, she's a prominent in the plus size community, and she had this post the other day about the Express, and the Express supposedly is not going to sell size 18 anymore, which is disappointing. But a lot of times we have to understand these companies are all in business to make money. If they're discontinuing something, can't be any money attached to it. They're smart. But at the same time, she was like,
their tall sizes out of their store, which was very disappointing.
They don't have long. They do have
at
long.
some point. I don't know if I stopped shopping with them after that, but like I went to go buy some jeans, and there's like, oh, only our tall sizes are online. They're not in the store. And I'm like,
well,
that's
I'm 5 feet. I don't understand.
Well, you know, we get discriminated against.
Yeah, I have the hem on my pants. I don't know. But it's like she had this whole post about tag them, and I'm like, no, don't do that. Because again, you know what I'm dealing with right now. Like, don't do that. If you think about, if you got 1 million followers, and you telling all these people to go tag her, that is harassment. Yeah. That is harassment. She don't deserve that. No matter what she did. Mm-hmm. But we have to understand that whatever we do is our decision and our choice. Right. And if the Express say, okay, I don't want to sell size 18 any longer, that's their business. That's their choice. You can't boycott them or make them do anything. Mm-hmm. You know, we have to stop doing that as a people. If somebody is not doing something, I don't eat meat, but you think I'm at the steakhouse, it's like, murderer! Like, no, I go somewhere that celebrate who celebrates you and go over there and stop trying to like cancel people and all that sort of stuff. Yeah. It's crazy.
I'm here for it. I feel like we need a part 2.
And some wine.
And some wine.
Because
some wine.
Girl.
My folks in the back are like, we need a...
Because we ain't even got to all the stuff, but that's
we don't need a part 2. Or, you know, make this a 3-hour pod and...
We have some wine.
We're going to have to take a break.
We all need a cocktail. We need somebody
but I know we haven't had the opportunity to like engage our guest. And so I could probably take like one comment if anybody want to add to the conversation real quick. We'll take some in. I see Dina over there want to say something.
I don't know. I was listening to your story. I won't say it's similar to mine, but listening to your calling. Like, how did you know, like, this is what is your purpose? Like,
I think that every time it's always like got a test of water. I felt like every time I went through something terrible, and then it was really when I stopped working for anybody, when I started being full time, and I say, okay, guys, just between me and you, and like I'm like, you literally have 100% of my attention, and that was my focus. Then doors start opening. The doors didn't open when I was a real estate agent. They weren't opening when I was a bartender. I would get like little this and that, but like the light, I mean, like it got bright when I was truly focused on that. And that was also an indicator of how I feel like now I know what I'm supposed to be doing. Because again, in real estate, it was real estate. But when I started doing fashion full time, it just went crazy when I started doing it full time. And even in the darkest times, I feel like when I'm going through what I'm going through, and then like out of nowhere, like this awesome thing happened. Almost like it's like, guys, like I know you're going through some stuff, but let me give you a little bit, let you know I still got you. Right. You're still on the right path. You know what I mean? And so it continues to show itself. And so that's kind of how I know.
I love that. I love that. It's follow. I say go with the current and not against it.
Yeah.
But
you're gonna drown.
You have one question?
I just wanted to say, just listening to you, there's definitely a gift of ministry, and those people that are attacking you, maybe you should start praying for them.
Yes, absolutely. That's why I say, like, it made me, at first I was mad, but then I got to a place where, like, I feel so sad for them because, like, in order for somebody to talk to you a certain kind of way, I can only imagine where they're at.
Yeah. That gives them,
because you ain't in high spirits and feeling good about yourself if you can attack somebody else.
That gives them some kind of validation, like they
want somebody to join them.
Right. Mm-hmm. But this has been amazing. Yes. Thank you so much for this, just opening this up for us. Like, I'm feeling this vibe. I would love to get you guys' feedback as well, but I'm feeling this vibe. We will definitely have wine next time. Since no one ate the little snacks over there, but please take them home because I'll
eat some now. Girl, okay. I got these retainers. I got my retainers in, then I got to take them out. Pop. Y'all don't. I'll be
but
like
your
having.
Teeth are so pretty.
Well, they
They
cost.
pretty. But
I go to the dentist.
But we appreciate you for coming out. We loved your story. I just picked up so many gems from that as well. And like I said, it's a story that you need to hear. It's a story of what it really takes to like be in the industry, or even just to pursue whatever you feel in your heart that you've been called to do. Like, it's going to take blood, sweat, and some real tears.
Real crocodile.
Some blood too. Like, you got to really be in the trenches.
I got garments with blood on them.
That part.
And if there's anybody that like or you are like, if you have like questions about like the fashion or need like sourcing, like I'm a genius at sourcing. Like, just email me and I will give you the information. It's free. Now don't be like don't let it be like this much stuff. But like, if you need like, I want to know how to do this, or I got a specific question on this, I 1,000% do not mind answering it, because again, nobody wanted to give it to me, and I feel like we're all supposed to be in this thing together to help each other out. So like, I always try to like lean on my folks who like, you know, if you got something that I can benefit from or I can take, or if you need something, I got a resource, I'm gonna give it to you. Because like, again, everybody call it the gatekeeping stuff. I don't do that. Whatever you need to know, like, I'm gonna tell you, you know, like, if we should be doing that with each other more often, as opposed to feeling like someone's gonna take something away from us. Because I feel like I'm in my own lane doing me, and like, whatever is for me, I'm gonna have. It's like, it's nothing you can do to take away from it. Right. I can go a live video every single morning and show y'all every single thing I do, and you still ain't gonna do me. Right. Cause I'm me. Right. And you gonna do you, cause I ain't you. You know what I'm saying? Like, we all have our greatness. I really feel like we need to be more of a community in that sense, and share more stuff with each other and help each other out without feeling like something's going to be taken away from us. Our counterparts do it.
Yes, a lot better.
They do it. Yeah. They give all the information to each other because they want to keep it over there. Right. But we get the information and then give it to them.
Right. Part 2, y'all. Part 2.
Okay, yeah.
When you want to come back? You want to come back?
Whenever I'm invited.
We're going to have
here.
a good one.
Okay.
Oh, that's a good guy. I was cool with some Trader Joe's.
Good. Well, thank you so much.
How to say, if all hearts and minds are clear.
Yes. We don't end it like this.
Really quick, can you shout out the Instagram, please?
My Instagram? My Instagram is Kenya Molly, Kenya Mollie. My brand is Sylvia Molly, Mollie. Sylvia is my mother, and Molly is my grandmother.
Love it.
Awesome.
Thank you.
And so thank you again for being part of the first Fashion Lounge.
Woo!
And you can follow us on Instagram. It's nothing posted on there yet, but on the Fashion Lounge podcast. Also, our platforms is official_fashion row and
NTPR firm.
And NTPR firm. Mm-hmm. And we are out, guys. Yes. Ciao.
We love it.
There's a lot of purpose-driven women up here, and it inspired me.
So I feel like it was a good balance between the two. Knowledge, we got a lot of knowledge, and then it was very inspirational. Like she said, it just felt really authentic because I've wanted to stop so many times, and I'm like, oh Jesus, and then I'm hearing like other people's stories because we all think that we're by ourselves. You've always had a kind spirit. You've always had a smile on your face.
It's like how you guys, your energies fed off each other.
I love what you're doing because you are trying to bring a fashion community together. I feel like this absolutely sets the tone for what is next.
I literally had to step out and go to the bathroom because I started crying because I always wanted to sew clothes and make my own clothing brand. So after I gave myself a pep talk, something in my head said, go get the damn sewing machine. So that's what I'm doing. But if it wasn't for you saying that, I probably would have still lost hope that was taken away from me a week ago. So thank you for that.
Well, I can tell you this right here. I got a brand new serger at the house. If you want it, it's yours.
This is exactly what the Fashion Lounge is supposed to be. Like, you know, we were when I started Fashion World Collective, it was about doing these big things, and I'm just like, you know, in trying to do those big things, it's like I'm forgetting the community that I said I wanted to build. And I'm like, it doesn't have to be a big thing. Right. Like, you just have to be able to, like, touch real lives. And the reason why I started this was when I was trying to start my brand and having all the challenges that I felt or I had experienced and having to put it on the shelf. You know, I'm like, no one else should have to experience, like, putting their dream on the shelf or on hold or just putting it to death, you know, because they don't have that community. They don't have the right resources. They don't know the who's who. So I'm like, if I can do anything about it, that's what I'm going to create, a place where people can come together. And I always say my purpose or my passion is helping people pursue their passion. You know, I get fulfilled when I see people get inspired to actually do something. You know, and destiny is like, it's a catch-22, right? Because when you're not doing it, you're mad frustrated. You know, you're not, you know, at peace with life because you know that there's something more in you. But when you do it, it takes everything out of you, and you have to, like, is this what I really want to do? Like, am I really dedicated to this vision and birthing it out? Because it will cost you everything. But literally, the reward for it will be, like, the money is not even the goal, right? Like, the reward of, like, knowing that I was put on this earth to fulfill this thing that no one can take away from me, and no one can do it the way that I do it. And I have that, I'm secure in that. Like, that is my life's purpose, of being able to create that awakening in people. And so, like, just seeing everybody here, you guys are in the fashion space and your own journeys, have your own goals. And my goal is, after this experience and our future ones, that, you know, you'll be able to connect with the right people at the right time, learn the right things, and that you can walk away richer than how you came in. So
I love it.
Love it.